to thrift flip this pink dress that I got a while back when I filmed my thrift flip shopping video. If you've already seen, you know it. And I am going to turn it into a matching set, as I mentioned before in the video, which you can wear it as a normal casual day wear, or you can also wear it as a workout fit if you want. So let's get right into the video. As always, I need a top for tracing, for which I'm going to use this PLT top, something that fits me perfectly, and I'm going to match the neckline together and adding some pins so it won't move while I trace. And then I'm adding pins to one side of the top first and tracing it out with the help of a chalk. And then I'm folding the band, aka the bottom of the top, so I can trace the bust area nicely without the band, because I'm going to add another piece to the top just like the PLT top, like it has a separate band attached to it, so we don't need to trace that here. Now once I'm tracing on one side, I'm doing the same to the other side, first adding pins and then tracing it out. Don't know if you've noticed, but tops don't have equal amount of fabric on both the front and back side, because you need more fabric at the front for the bust area, and that's to give your body that perfect fit according to its measurements. And that's the reason why I'm tracing the top one side at a time, as when you try to lay the top flat, it's not even on both the sides, because the back side is smaller than the front, and if you do that, you will end up tracing the top smaller than its size. So that's why I'm trying to trace one side at a time, just trying to make sure the edges are even and I can trace the actual size and not smaller. Now once done tracing, I'm cutting it out, and please mind here I'm cutting only the front piece, because I want the back neck to be more covered than the front, and I don't want the front and the back neck to be the same, so I'm cutting it out separately. Now here we have the front piece of the top. Now moving on to the rest of the fabric, I'm first going to cut out the sleeves near the seam line. Make sure you follow the seam line and cut it out right next to it. Don't destroy the sleeves, as we are going to need them later. For the back piece, I'm using the same technique, placing the top matching the neckline first, cutting it out, and then folding the piece in half and tracing the other side. Also going to cut out the hemline of the back piece, as it won't match to the front piece, because we don't have any hemline at the front piece and we'll have to hem it anyway, so I am getting rid of it. Next, matching the front and the back piece together, adding pins to the shoulder near the arm area, and then sewing it using a zigzag stitch. Now using the sleeves that we saved earlier, I'm cutting it out in half near the seam line, so they are one long piece each, and placing it near the armhole, first adding pins in the middle and then all around. Once done adding pins to both the sides, I'm sewing it following the pins using zigzag stitch. Now comment down below, where do you concentrate while sewing? Is it the edges? Is it the fabric? I want to know. I'm curious. I try to look for both the foot pressure and the fabric. I use the foot pressure as a guide to get the idea if I'm going straight and even. So example, here I started sewing about 2 centimeters away from the edges. So while sewing the rest, I try to make sure the foot pressure is maintaining the same gap distance as it was when I started. Once I'm done adding the sleeves, I'm trimming off the excess of the sleeves on both the sides, and then adding pins near the edges and going to sew it using a zigzag stitch. And also going to hem the neckline using a zigzag stitch. Now moving on to the leftover bits of fabric, I cut out a long piece of fabric for the band of the top. If you have small pieces, you can join it and make it to one long piece like I did. Took double the width of the band, that is 4 inches. And 24 inches long. Also took an elastic of the same measurement, about 24 inches long. So I sew the edges of the elastic together with the fabric, folding it in half with the right side out, using a zigzag stitch. And also sealed the top edges using a zigzag stitch. Once the piece was ready, I also sewed the edges together to make it a round waistband. Now once the long piece is sewn, I'm going to add it to the bottom of the top from one side to the other using a zigzag stitch. Also, I ran out of pink threads while doing this project and I had nothing similar or even close, so I used white instead. If you want better results and you don't want the stitches to be visible, then I will suggest using threads that matches the color of your fabric. Now for the bottoms, I'm going to use this biker shorts for tracing today, and I'm folding the shorts in half so that I can trace it and adding pins near the edges to make sure I won't have to struggle while tracing. So I'm placing the shorts over the fabric by matching the bottom hemline. Next, all I'm doing is tracing it all around without the waistband, just like we did with the top. We are going to add a separate waistband, so we don't need that. Now once the pieces are cut out, I'm placing both the pieces wrong side out and pinning the top half. Now we have the front two pieces of the shorts ready to go to the sewing machine. Now for the back piece, I use the same technique. Fold the shorts to the back side, traced and cut out 2 pieces for the back. And once the pieces are ready, I pin the top half and sewing them using a zigzag stitch. Also sewed the front 2 pieces using zigzag stitch. Once both the pieces are ready, I'm placing them one top of another, matching the bottom edges and adding pins near the edges on all the sides. And going to sew it using zigzag stitch. Now for the waistband, I'm cutting small pieces to join them together so I can turn it into a long piece. Taking 3.5 inches as width and the thick elastic about 26 inches. Again, took a little less than my actual waist measurements as it's going to stretch when you wear it. So you can always take a few inches away from the actual measurements. Sewed the edges of the elastic to the piece and sealed the edges. Once the piece was ready, I also sewed the edges together to make it a round waistband. Lastly, joined the waistband to the shorts exactly like I sewed the top using a zigzag stitch. And there I have my matching 2-piece set ready. I so wanted to try this in beige, nude, or in white color, but I had no clothes left to thrift flip, and also I cannot go to the store right now, so I decided to make it in pink. Comment down below what you guys think, and if you want to see more videos like this, please don't forget to give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe and turn on the notification bell so that you get notified every time I'm here, and I will see you guys next time. Bye guys.